2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
We had a couple of big guests today. We talked about the astronauts' re-entry to the world, to the planet and to society,
amazing.
and what medically that means with our favourite doctor/astronaut, Dr. Shauna Pandya.
Yes, she's going to come back to WA next year, so we'll be able to catch up with him.
She's Canadian-based.
Actually, later this year. Matt Shervington, he's doing a special on Gout, who has taken Australian athletics by storm. We're going to catch up with him as well.
We're on the Gout train, aren't we? Plus, we spoke to a lot of listeners today. One was about what your intruder plan is. Do you have something stowed under the bed in case somebody breaks in the middle of the night? Or do you have another plan?
Yep. When you went to your partner's house for the very first time, what was your first impressions?
And strangers ruining your holiday, inspired by Sean's Auntie Wendy, who had a terrible time of it in Bali.
Let's go.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean. Nova 937. There's no one better yet.
Oh, Sean singing.
Nice.
It's 4:06, Nathan, Nat and Sean. Late change.
Yep.
Morris out, Warman in.
I've lived my life on the bench, so it's weird when I get the, hey, come on the field. I was the guy, that had heart but no skill. So,
Ross.
but it's true. Like I was in the coach went in at Hale School. I was in the thirds or fourths or whatever it was.
Yeah.
How low does it go?
Yeah, pretty low. And they'd be like, Ross, see how he chased the guy the whole time, went up and down the field. I didn't do anything, but just I
No, that's
tried.
important, Ross. It's important. I used to try to point out people who do that because it makes a difference to the team.
Hardest trier.
As I said, it's a downfall in this office, but I've always tried hard.
Did you, when you were playing football, did you get the kindness trophy?
I got bullied.
Hey Ross, in sport these days that they have to spend a specific time on the field, which is 3/4
Yes.
of the game on the field these days.
I wish I was back in my day.
I know.
So everyone's
remember.
got iPads at the footy, which is about to get underway in a few weeks' time for junior footy. And you have to have a parent on the iPad to be able to make sure that the timing's done correctly for each player.
Yeah, I'm about that. All about that. I bet you hate that, Sean. Oh, kids, you'd be all right. Are you okay with kids getting a fair go?
No, because his kids were good. So, he didn't like them. Yeah.
No, I don't mind it.
As a coach.
Don't mind it. Oh, it's difficult if you have to have more than 5 people on the bench. That's when it becomes very difficult, which I've done before.
And you're turning them over really fast. And also you've got some not very good players on.
You can't all hide them in the forward pocket, as you know.
There's not enough forward pockets sometimes.
That was my spot.
Exactly.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Hey, I was over Mum and Dad's for dinner last night, and my sisters were celebrating my niece, her birthday. Anyway, she's going over to Melbourne very shortly, and my sister at the dinner table last night was saying how that she gets really frightened when she's left in the house alone.
Oh, okay.
They live together still. And Kel's like, oh, mate, as soon as Kira goes, that's it. Baseball bat under the bed. I'll have it in my hand. I'll probably sleep with it, actually. I'll probably sleep with it most of the time. And I'm like, Kel.
So she owns a baseball bat?
Yes.
What, she went to a sports shop and bought a baseball bat as a weapon?
No, actually, it was my brother David's from many years
hilarious.
ago. Yeah. So I was like, oh, Kel, gee, that's a bit full on. And then Mum pipes in, do you remember what Grandma used to have under her bed? Because my grandfather passed away like 20 years earlier than Grandmother did, Grandma Mac. And Grandma Mac used to have a pool boy, a pool ball.
Grandma Mac, you fuck.
In a stocking.
So she put a pool ball in a stocking so that she could swing it around and
Swing
smack
it
into
around.
an intruder.
If someone came through at the house in Palmyra.
When she was 100.
When she was 100.
Can you imagine?
Exactly. She was 100,
Can you
mate.
imagine how hard that would feel? Not at all.
And you got to have accuracy as well.
Yeah, I mean,
You
the
do,
risk
Ross.
with that is that you're going to smack yourself in the head, isn't it? If you try and hit somebody else, it's going to swing around. I've played totem tennis. I know how it works.
Yeah, that's how it
It's
works.
going to swing around and smack yourself in the face. Amazing.
You know, it's funny when that conversation started, then everyone starts talking about what they have as maybe a protection or a weapon or how they get out of a situation or what they've thought through, Nat.
Well, over the years, I've just relied on having a dog as as the early warning system and everything.
Of course.
But Lewis is now nearly 12 and he's going deaf and he doesn't hear me come home anymore. Like I have to walk right up to him and I'm like, I don't know that he would stop an intruder or let an intruder know. The intruder just tiptoe past him and he'd have no idea. So then, it does cross your mind because when you live alone and you're a woman, you do think about these things. And I basically think about, it's more about the exit strategies.
Yes.
So like if they were to break in through that door, what would and I was in this room, what would I do? Because I do have multiple sort of exit points. So it'd be like I'd hide here until they go past that way and then I'd go out that way and through that gate. Or if I'd go there and go through the garage or I'd do this, I'm constantly running scenarios just in the playbook just in case. You hope you never need it.
No,
obviously.
of course you don't. Of course you don't. Ross, do you have something in your
As
head?
the protector of your family?
Yeah, as a protector of my family, I do think I'd sacrifice. You would, as the dad, you'd sacrifice yourself, whatever that means. But I did have the thought that my technique would, and I don't know if I'd be brave enough to do this, is when they come in, run at them. I thought just yell and run at them to try and scare them. It'd be terrifying.
I know what you're saying.
When someone does that to you, you go to fear. But, would I do that? I don't know. Maybe. With the kids there, maybe. But I'd be scared.
In the moment,
Ross,
you never know how you're going to react.
Many years ago when we had this house in Palmyra, wooden floors, right, and I had socks on when I went to bed because it was in winter and this noise happened. It was quite loud and I did that thing because I thought the same thing. I'll jump out and I'll yell and I'll get towards as soon as I put my feet and try to get some purchase on the
fell
floorboards.
over.
I sofa tit straight away.
You're going to have to get Pilates socks that have got the grip on the bottom to wear to bed.
I got bounce socks, so the trampoline
they're great.
socks with the grip. They would work perfect.
Yeah. You're like a dog that needs to wear socks so they can get up off the floorboards. Look, we want to know about, have you got a plan? Do you have a weapon somewhere? Preferably not like a shotgun.
No,
We mean
not
like
at
a
all. We don't want to hear
baseball
that. We
bat
don't
Or
want to hear that.
Grandma Max, pool ball in a stocking kind of vibe.
Maybe you try to use it one stage when you didn't need to, you hurt yourself, you made a mistake.
Or you've just got the plan. You've thought about it and you know what your plan is if there's an intruder. Ellen in Inaloo, hello.
Hi, how are you going?
Good, Alan.
All right, Alan, if there was an intruder at your house, do you know what would happen?
I do. I've actually got two little girls, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yes.
And if my husband ever goes away, he plays baseball, so I do have the baseball bat under the bed.
Great.
But the added little kick is you pop a really thick, big sock on the baseball bat.
Yeah.
So that if you're kind of defending yourself and somebody goes to grab the bat, you can pull the bat away, they end up with the sock and you still have the bat.
That's
Alan,
genius.
This is genius.
not a good weapon to have if you got the sock, right?
No.
That's amazing. So you've really
actually
thought
good.
that through. I mean, the other thing you could do was grease it up.
Yeah, a greasy
That's
bat.
true.
A greasy bat.
That's true.
So
But it's less funny.
Is it currently got the sock on under your bed? If he goes away,
Yeah.
it will be socked up.
It would be.
Yeah, you put the protection on, Ross. You
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Or you could leave the bat up, as you just said, Ross.
I didn't say that.
Thank you, Alan. It's a great strategy. We'll put that on the list.
That's a good one.
Sarah's in Golden Bay. Hello.
Hello, how you going?
Great, Sarah. Okay. If we were to break into your house at night, I mean, it sounds a bit sinister when we say it like that. How are you going to protect yourself?
I'll tell you what, I like Ellen's idea with the sock. That
Yes.
was cool. Well, I've got we call it a mag light. So I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. You know, the big, long...
It's a
black
heavy torch,
torches?
isn't it?
Yeah,
the
mag
torches.
light.
So so I call it the baton, but it's a
Yes.
torch, right? So all you're planning to do is blind the intruder, but of
Right.
course you've got this weapon that you
Yes.
can whack across their head if, the torch doesn't work in the first instance.
Yeah.
So...
Two
Yeah,
different
pretty
strategies
cool.
in one.
And we have one at every bed.
Okay,
My
great.
side, husband's
bed.
side, son's side. Yeah, by the bed.
Jeez.
Also, you know where it is if there's a blackout.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
That's exactly right.
No, they're dangerous. My brother actually got hit. There was a security guard down at Yelling Up, Cave's house one year. This is many years ago. He had one of those and he belted my brother with it.
Oh.
And it really cut his head.
Oh, so good to know. It actually does
They went
hurt.
well.
All right.
Should have just shone the light on him. He would have been.
I know. It was
Because he was
having a wee in
blind.
the bushes. Come on.
Oh, that old chestnut. All right. Thank you, Sarah. That's definitely one that we can add to the list of strategies for protecting ourselves. We're just waiting on one more, are we? We're just going to talk amongst ourselves while we wait for the next caller to be ready.
Could play a song.
Couple of good strategies, though, by the way.
The
Yeah,
sock.
I know, right? That
The
was
sock. And you'd want like the footy sock because it goes all the way. It's a long one.
No, you want them to, when they grab at it, for the sock to come off.
Yeah,
That's
but
their theory. So if it's too long, they're not going to do two hands to try and unpeel the sock off.
Yeah, but
it needs to come
their
off
hands would
instantly.
Still, what if it's an anklet sock? You know?
Well, I mean, there's a happy medium.
How do you get that over the end of it, Ross?
Let-
Oh, you can stretch it.
Go to Murray in June. Morning, Murray.
Oh, how you going, guys?
Good, Murray.
All right, Murray. Why shouldn't we break into your place?
I've got a cattle prod under the bed.
That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say.
Are you a cattle farmer in June, Murray?
No, my father was in Meriden.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, Murray, that is having grown up on a farm. I know what it feels like to be, because I've got
Your
older brothers.
Yeah.
And I know what it feels like. And it's not something that makes you happy. And it would sort of stop me in my tracks if I was an intruder, I think. Yeah.
No doubt.
Murray, could you can you press a button and it makes that crackling sound? Is it like hey, I don't want to use
As a warning.
Like that.
Yeah, it's got a bit like a taser sort of sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'll do it.
Have you used it on anyone in your household just for fun?
Your brothers?
My old man gave me a bit of a taste one time, and I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, do you remember what you did wrong, Murray?
Probably a lot of things that I can't really say on the radio.
Yeah. No, he probably deserved it. Thank you, Murray.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
So when I was over Mum and Dad's last night for dinner, we were all sitting around and we're getting ready for a family. Well, we've got a wedding as a family. There's a family holiday happening in Bali. So a destination wedding, which is always
Yeah, it's
good,
a bit of
brings
fun.
everybody together. My auntie had just recently got back from Bali, my Auntie Wendy, and she goes quite regularly. I reckon probably 3 to 4 times a year.
Wow.
And,
okay.
Yeah, and she stays at the same hotel and loves the place. She feels comfortable there and all the rest of it. But she said, I had the worst time ever in Bali
Auntie
just
Wendy.
a couple of weeks ago.
What
What could
happened?
go wrong in Bali?
And straight away you think, oh, she might have got sick. But she doesn't normally get sick. But
No.
no, it wasn't because she was sick. It was because the people in the room directly next to her, 2 women, were abusing each other and screaming each other day in, day out. And she reckons it started at probably 3 in the afternoon where the mum, who was probably, she reckons, probably between late 50s to 60s,
Yes.
was getting blind and just abusing her daughter left, right
So
and centre.
the daiquiri, the mango daiquiris have kicked in by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when all hell unleashed.
Actually, I don't know if it was the spicy margarita now because they can get you as well.
Did you any of the particular things that were said, like ballpark of what the?
There was a lot
Can't
of
be said on the radio, I
the
imagine.
curly C word was getting thrown around left, right and centre, and they were
How you
abusing
talk
each
to your
other
mum.
over the mother. Get a load of this. So the mum. So they're sharing a room, the mum and daughter. The daughter's about 25, the mum and the daughter. And the mum kept bringing home Balinese guys.
What, like?
Yeah, and
Bringing them home.
toweling them up, for want of a better term. And different ones all the time. And my only went, my
Don't
only's-
share a room if that's what you're doing.
Exactly. So she's got her mum there going about her business,
So she's got to
making
just
noises.
wait outside for a while.
And then she's abusing her mum, her mum's abusing her, and it was just a
And
constant
Auntie
show.
Wendy's hearing all of it.
all of it every single day for 4 days. She was only there for 7 days in total. She had 2 really good days at the start of it. Then it was like 4 in a row. And then out of nowhere, she said, I was at the pool and they were abusing each other again and all the swear words you can think of.
How old's Auntie Wendy?
I'd say 70 on the dot.
Okay.
Possibly 69. Anyway, she gets up.
It's funnier to say she's 69. Keep going.
She said she got up and she walked over and got in this lady's face and couldn't stop herself from screaming at her.
Auntie Wendy snapped.
How you're ruining my holiday, you're ruining everyone's holiday, more importantly, you're ruining my holiday, your language towards your daughter, where you're from, you gotta...
Yes, gutter mouth.
Yeah, the whole lot. And she just kept going and going and going. And this Balinese guy that had been with the lady the night before tried to jump in.
One of her paramours.
Yeah, and my auntie gave it to him for both barrels. She just said, I couldn't stop myself. And she was swearing back at him and going ballistic.
Auntie
But they
Wendy had
ruined her holiday.
She'd been pushed to the brink.
She said it was the worst holiday ever and she loves going there. She loves staying at the hotel. She loves going to Bali. And she had the worst time ever.
What, it's like... Everybody else can be great, but all it takes is, 2 people fighting in front of you to really ruin things. When I did a holiday in Borneo once, this is quite a while ago, went with a mate of mine, and it was a small group tour because we travelled around. There was about 12 people, and you go and see the orangutans, and actually it was an amazing trip. And when near the orangutan sanctuary, the place we were staying had these little bamboo huts on stilts kind of thing, and that was the accommodation. So everybody had their own little hut, and they kind of there was a little road that wound up the hill, and everybody's little huts were up there. And it was the day we were leaving there, and there was a couple who were much older than everybody else on the trip, but they and the husband had a cleft palate, and he was a bit hard to understand, but he was genuinely the nicest, loveliest man. He was a keen hiker. Yeah. Everybody really fell in love with him. He was fantastic. His wife, the only word I can use to describe his wife is she was a harridan. Like, she was just like a negative, mean person.
Just for people that don't know what harridan is, if they didn't know, that means...
Negative, mean person.
Negative,
Ross.
mean person. I was going to say that. But...
I didn't want to ask, Ross.
It doesn't sound good, right? Yeah. Anyway, and so the last day they were at this particular accommodation, we had to walk past their hut to get to ours. Yep. And as we're walking up, all we could hear was, and everybody could hear this, was her screaming at him about the way he was packing up the bag. And it was just like full on, like she was just haranguing this poor man. That means nagging in a mean way, Ross.
Why are you looking at me? Sure.
I'm confused.
And like, so just it was like, if you can imagine a mean mother like screaming at a child, that's the sort of voice she was using. And he was such a sweet man. And then, of course, we all have to get on the bus with these people. And so everybody's getting on the bus, like just going, because everybody else heard it. And it's just like the awkwardness of not knowing where to look. And she just got on like it was nothing. Like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. And we all heard what you were just screaming at that poor man.
It is hard to do a suitcase right when you got a partner.
I know, but still, you're not going to scream at them, are you, for hours on end?
We want to talk about strangers ruining your holiday. So they might have just been partying just right out of control sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, that reminds, because in Rotto, Megan's gone next door to people before and had a go at them.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, shush.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go to Jenny in Wattle Grove. Morning, Jen.
Morning, how are you?
Morning.
Good, Jen.
Did strangers ruin your holiday, Jen?
Yes, so we were in Bali as well, and we were staying in, it was a small place. It had a couple of villas, and each villa had a pool.
Yep.
And they were accessible from the back. We heard the gate unlatch, and we didn't really think anything of it. We thought maybe it was the neighbours. And we hear giggling, and a grown man, was doing a number 2 in our pool.
In the pool?
Jenny, in your private pool.
In the pool.
No wonder they were giggling.
So we got someone out to clean it, and they couldn't even move our villa because it was booked out. So we had to stay there for the rest of the holiday.
You're not going to go in that pool again, are you?
No.
No, you couldn't, not knowing what's happened there.
There's no amount of chlorine that's going to take care of that because it's a mental game,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
you're obviously not telling the next guest what happened, and so they're oblivious. But, Jenny, that's heartbreaking.
Blokes are funny, aren't they?
Funny's a word, yeah.
How's that conversation come up, Sean? I feel like you may have had that.
Yeah, blokes are funny. Yeah, he's got some stories that should not be told on the radio.
Those.
Thank you, Jenny. Ebony, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ebs.
Ebony, are you giving us the flip side to this? You ruined someone else's holiday.
Yeah, I think so.
Was it Auntie Wendy?
No, but we have an Auntie Wendy as well.
Oh, everyone does.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
happened, Ebony?
Go, Ebony.
So we were camping in Coral Bay, and when we booked, it was a large group of us, so we booked 6 or so sites. And when we arrived, they had put somebody smack bang in the middle of us.
No.
So we, young families, we all had children. They had children too, probably a bit younger than ours. But, you know, you'd go out, have your day out and about and come back in the afternoon and in the evening and be talking about your day. And that just, they actually did come out and say, you know, can you be quiet? So we felt terrible for them. But it also kind of put a little doubt in it for us too, because every day we felt like we were tiptoeing around.
Yes, you're on eggshells, aren't you? Yeah,
we were on eggshells. Like, it was kind of both ways, I guess.
But you were talking about your day, not the kids weren't screaming or anything? Was it just
we weren't and we weren't even up ridiculously late, you know, anything like that. It was really just, you know, the end of the day, wind down. You're on holidays, you're excited.
Yeah.
You have young
wrong with
children,
that.
you know.
A few quite frothies.
It is interesting staying in those campsites because you get groups of people because everyone's having a good old time.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of people up early and then in bed early.
Yeah, that's right. They might have been wanting to go fishing early or something like that, so they want to have an early night. It's like, well, camping's not for you.
Yeah. And those sites are so close to each other.
Yeah, they are.
Literally in somebody else's tent or caravan.
Yeah.
Oh, Ebony, how good's Coral Bay for the young families? It's unbelievable.
Beautiful spot.
Ebony, did you try and get them back by doing a poop in their tent?
No.
That's because Ebony's classy. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well
remember
done,
that
Eb.
time I told you that story when we were over in Mauritius and the guys kept doing that to me in my room?
No.
Is that a real story?
It's a real story,
man. I knew you'd have something like that.
Find out what hotel they went to and don't eat off the plates is all I can say.
You're a sicko. But you're our sicko.
In his defence, he was more the victim than the perpetrator.
I was the victim,
but
Ross.
still.
I think everyone's a victim in that.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
We all watched The Vision. Some people didn't believe it yesterday, looking at our producer, Amy, of the astronauts returning to Earth after, they went to the International Space Station for 8 days. They stayed for 286, which is a lot more than initially intended.
Absolutely.
They finally got to come back yesterday. Time to catch up with Dr. Shauna Pandya, who we've met here. She's been in the studio with us, to give us the lowdown on everything that they're going through. Shauna, hello.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, this is so amazing. We watched all the Vision yesterday. I've got to admit, though, I was kind of with Amy. I was watching it because it was coming through from like a satellite coverage and I was thinking, oh, we've been stung here. This is a phony.
It looked like it was CGI'd.
But very exciting.
Did it look that way to you?
You know, the tip-off was that it was so perfect that if this was CGI, that they would have ruined it because anyone who's doing a fairy tale kind of story or a Hollywood ending would have known not to put the dolphins in because they knew that would have kind of been, push the limits of belief or disbelief. And, this was so picture perfect. It was during the daytime, clear ocean, calm seas, beautiful turquoise waters. For anyone who was watching live, they saw these beautiful main shoots just unfurling like jellyfish. And then, out of nowhere, these dolphins come right up to the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule as if to say, hello, welcome back, we missed you. It was just so perfect.
It's crazy.
So, Shauna, they were in there 286 days. What type of, how's their body? What would be going on with their body?
It takes a toll, right?
After that long?
There's a lot, yeah. So the three main systems, so the short summary is that every single bodily system is affected by being in space, but the three main ones that will be focused on for rehabilitation will be the cardiovascular,
systems, the neurosensory systems, and the musculoskeletal systems. So just think of your inner ear, your heart, as well as your muscles. And so for anyone who's watching the landing live, you'll notice that each one of the 4 returning crew members were wheeled out on stretchers, and that's not because anything was wrong. It's a matter of protocol. Because imagine that you have not stood up on your own 2 feet for 9 months. Imagine the next time you try to stand up, your legs are going to be decompensated. You're going to have a hard time just even trying to maintain the blood flow to your brain. The valves in your legs are very compensated, so you have a very real risk of fainting or falling over. And your inner ear, which has spent all this time in 0G, where there was no up or down, suddenly has to relearn all of that. So, you saw them being whisked away to their initial medical evaluation where they were given their first once-over from head to toe by the flight surgeon. And all of that's protocol because, they're adapted to one gravity environment, in this case being a lack of gravity environment, and now they have to get used to being in the 1G that you and I take for granted every day.
It's amazing to think about all this stuff that they have to go back, particularly learning to walk again. So what kind of a process do they have to do, Dr. Pandya, to be able to get their legs? Is it just a couple of minutes here and there?
Yeah, what's the rehab involve?
It's a lot is the short answer. So these astronauts are very well looked after, and that starts at pre-flight. And so every astronaut is different. Their readaptation process is different. The amount of muscle mass loss and what the rehab program they'll each go through will be tailored to each individual astronaut. So they will be immediately taken by helicopter back to mainland from the landing vessel. Then they'll be flown back to Texas. And then in the coming days, rehab, blood tests, imaging, it all starts. And they're not even doing anything that's extremely strenuous like jogging in the first week because they're still learning how to walk. So it'll be this cross coordination between getting maybe some cardio on a less high impact cardio machine like an elliptical. There will be definite retraining for coordination, so some hand-eye coordination, maybe with a ball, and then just re-strengthening those core muscles like the abs, which we haven't had to use in space. So, it's very, very meticulous. It goes on for at least a month, and it's tailored to every astronaut. And then, just to start getting used to resistive exercise in a safe environment, they might do what we call hydrotherapy, which will include some swimming and some water exercises as well.
Oh, Nat.
I imagine that even just getting used to gravity again is going to blow their minds, that if you drop something, it's going to fall to the ground. Whereas they're used to things just floating around them. That must be, even that would be hard to get your head around.
Yeah, there's so much here that we take for granted. So there's, of course, the gravity. And then one point that was made during the landing commentary yesterday was that this is the first time they will be breathing fresh air in 9 months.
Wow.
So, we can just walk outside if we feel like it. They can't. So it really does kind of hammer home how much we take for granted just being here on Earth. So, they've been through a lot, but they all 4 of them, Butch, Sunny, Nick, Alexander, showed that they were up to the task.
Was there any physical advantages of being in space that long? They're not getting melanoma up there, I assume. But is there anything that would be better off once you're in space for 286 days?
Even to fly, it's I've been in parabolic flight. I've done almost 190 of these parabolas now, so much shorter duration than what an international space station mission entails. But it is incredible. Floating is one of the most freeing feelings you'll ever get to experience. I can't wait to experience it again myself. And there's a lot of fun to be had up there. Koichi Wakata, one of the famous Japanese astronauts, has this incredible video of him playing all the positions in baseball as a one-man show. So he'll throw the ball and then he'll race to the other side of the station. He'll meet it in time to hit it with a bat and then go back and catch it. So,
That's
you
hilarious.
can get pretty creative up there.
It's hard to throw a fastball, though.
Absolutely. And he got caught out trying to steal home, which is unbelievable. I wanted to know, Dr. Pandya, do you know, so the astronauts are safe at home, and we all know that now. They go on the stretchers and they go off. Do you know what kind of foods that they would want to be eating and or allowed to be eating? Because you'd think, oh, my God, thank God, no dehydrated stuff. Do I get a burger, whatever? But I'd imagine your body wouldn't take to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so their nutritional status is very closely monitored. So when I say these guys are well looked after, I mean it. There's a whole team of flight surgeons, psychologists, nutritionists, rehab specialists, all looking after them. But the luxury that they get being back here on Earth, they can actually have fresh fruit, fresh vegetables now, which, up on station are a whole luxury because they're vegetables and fruit. They're wet, they're heavy, they have a finite shelf life. So, an orange that you and I may take for granted is sent up as a luxury item for Christmas. So these guys get to go back to their usual diet soon, and, of course, their nutritional status will be closely monitored.
Theoretically speaking, how long would it be before those particular astronauts, Sonny and Butch, would be able to go back up there again?
That I would actually be highly dependent on each astronaut. I'm sure they want to spend some time with their families and practice.
How about you turn them around? Back you go. So physically, within months?
Some of it will be dependent on what their pre versus post-flight status is. So their bone density, their muscle mass, their core muscle strength, all of that is meticulously recorded before flight. And then those same measurements are undertaken post-flight. And then trying to get them back to their baseline, all of that. For example, for bone density loss, that's something we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
They would have lost, 1 to 2% per month if they hadn't been doing exercise up on the station.
That's significant loss, Yeah,
exactly. So looking at when they get back to their baseline, and, there's a whole lot of mission debriefing. There's a whole lot of recovery from this mission that needs to happen as well. So it won't be anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, they'd have to be keen as well, which they're probably not.
You're freaking fly miles, though.
Dr. Shauna Pandya, our favourite doctor/astronaut, thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to be back. I will be back in Perth in September of this year, so hopefully we can meet up in person.
Yes, we'll catch up with you then. That's wonderful.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
You were made to meet halfway. Expedia were made to plan where halfway is. Expedia, made to travel.
Auckland, LA, Vegas.
Oh my God.
Nova's Red Room Global Tour, powered by Expedia.
Nova's Red Room. Let's go. Let me hear ya. Listen to Jelly Roll's single, Liar, out now.
You ain't nothing but a liar.
In fact, we just played Jelly Roll's single, Liar. Jelly Roll is one of the incredible acts that are part of Nova's Red Room Global Tour, all powered by Expedia. This is your chance to get up close and personal with an amazing lineup.
We'll be kicking off with an exclusive Nova's Red Room in Sydney. That'll be amazing. Hey, Ross, with that, we went to one before, and it was Ed Sheeran at the Opera House.
That was amazing. I went to Lizzo too, that was in a small...
Intimate.
Yeah. It was actually supposed to be on a floating venue, but it was when the bushfires were happening over east. And so that got canned when they moved us into this very intimate kind of bar situation.
She was singing to you.
I could have reached out and touched her. It was incredible.
And when you say we've been to Red Rooms, definitely didn't include me, FYI. Other artists, we got Gracie Abrams.
You're on the bench, Ross, remember?
Live on the bench. In Auckland, LA, Dean Lewis, Las Vegas, right? So that's Jelly Roll and Post Malone. Had a look at some of the things you can do while you're there. ATV tours in the dunes, Las Vegas dunes.
They're cool.
Yeah.
If you want to splash out, helicopter tour of the Strip at night.
I've done a helicopter tour to the Grand Canyon from Vegas. Amazing.
Many
Incredible.
of those. Mob Museum, history of organised crime in Vegas.
That would be amazing.
A lot of material to draw on.
That was huge.
Yeah, and there's good outlet shopping in Vegas as well if you want to spend a few American dollars
Is there?
and get some bang for your buck.
It's a place called Ross's.
Is the outlet store?
Yeah, there's a place called Ross's. I don't know what
You're
it
not
sells.
thinking of Ross's auctions, are you?
No, it's like a Kmart or something.
Well, in order to get involved, you just have to register online or via the Nova Player. And then if we call you back, that puts you into Friday's draw where you could get the big callback from Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel. And today's person that we're bunging into that draw is Melissa from Edgewater. Morning, Melissa.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, Melissa, you don't even have to wait. Just one more sleep and you could cop the big phone call tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, I'm so excited already. Better come my way.
I know, right? It seems like
Gotta be in it to win it.
What of these 4 gigs excites you the most?
Probably definitely Vegas, of course. But a double whammy. My brother lives over there, so I would get to see my family as well.
Oh, in the States. Whereabouts does he live, Mel, in the States?
In Vegas, right there.
What's he doing there? Is he a showgirl or a magician? What is he?
He's a tattooist.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What? So, tell me more. So, began tattooing over here and then just travelled and got a gig?
So he moved over there in just as COVID hit, which probably wasn't the best time. And he works for Hart and Huntington in Caesar's Palace. So shout out to Damien.
So people go over there, they have a few drinks and think, yep, tonight's the night I'm going to get a tat. And your brother's there to help them out. It's a dice, lucky dice.
We can all get hooked up.
There you go.
Get your brand new wife that you just met and got married to. Her name tattooed on your heart.
Quite a list.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, Mel.
Mel. Well, this would be a beautiful family reunion, and also you get to see some cracking gigs. So good luck. Keep your phone close tomorrow afternoon, okay?
Thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited.
Oh, well done. All right, more chances to get in the draw. Go online or via the Nova Player now. You could be just like Melissa, although Melissa doesn't want anyone else in the draw. She wants to be the only one.
And I hope she wins too.
Yeah, I know. How good's that?
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
So maths this week. Look, I don't know. There's a lot going on. That's just in summary. But Jackie is the unhinged one, former Miss New Zealand. She keeps telling everybody, and when they dug a little deeper on that, it's like, well, you won a kind of title once, and it wasn't Miss New Zealand. Anyway, she it was home visits week where they go to one another's homes, and they went to her home, and it came out later that it wasn't her home. She lives in a share house, and they just rented an Airbnb for her.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Bait and switch.
Because obviously you're making judgments about that person by where they live, how they live, how they decorate it. Because she certainly made judgments about Ryan. Have a listen to her talking about Ryan's place.
It was eye-opening to see his home. I just think he's been alone here for 7 years. And maybe he isn't even aware of how lonely he is. It really reminds me of the elderly.
It reminds me of the elderly.
What's wrong with that?
He's not aware of how lonely he is.
She was really upset about that.
Well, for starters, he went on maths, so I don't know, maybe there is something in that. But it's like, I mean, come on. He lived a fairly normal life for a young guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't that depressing. Like it
wow,
was
she was,
like the
she
elderly.
was literally crying.
It was the way he was sitting in a corner crocheting a rug, I think.
Do we know what was in the house that made her so upset? Sam, did you see it?
Yeah, Sam, you're across this.
It was just like a bunch of stuff that men collect over their lives.
Yes.
Like, on holidays, like a Stein glass from Germany and like a shot glass from Vegas, like that kind of stuff. So really normal stuff for like a bachelor to have in their house.
A bachelor who's in his late 20s.
Trophies.
Yeah, there was nothing particularly different to his house or how your house would have been at the same age, Sean.
No.
I mean, he probably has less football trophies.
I remember when Megan first came to my house, first thing she did is got my sheets and burnt them. And with good reason too.
She's making a statement. This place is mine now.
I can only imagine how horrific they were.
Oh my God. Well, you move out of home. The last thing I knew about is chucking stuff in the washing machine, really.
You didn't know about the 1,000 thread sheets or anything like that.
Yeah, no, there was no such thing as a thread count, was there?
I wouldn't have a clue.
You wouldn't want to put a blue light over it, that's for sure. Am I wrong?
No comment. plead the fifth, whatever that
I
is.
think the first time you go to a future partner's house or a potential partner's house, it can be very eye-opening, the things that you see. For me, like when I for the first time went to my ex's house, he was moving house, so everything was in boxes. So you do allow a little bit of latitude for that because you're like, he hasn't settled in. And then as he unpacks, it's like, there's a lot of Ford memorabilia coming out here. And you think,
And you're traditionally a Holden girl, so that was...
I have no allegiance either way, that's for sure. Look, we want to know, what was your first impression when you went to a potential partner's house? That first time you walked in and you looked around and you started crying because you thought they must be lonely, or perhaps there were some red flags that you saw immediately, or perhaps you saw something amazing and you're like, oh no, I'm in here. He's got crystal, I don't know.
Oh, like a harness or something. You're like, yeah, why not? Hey, I'm going to live a little.
Yeah, exactly. Jess, hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely, Jess.
Morning.
Loud and clear.
Hey.
Okay, so talk to us. What happened when you went back to their place for the first time?
This was when I was, still a teenager, still quite young, so obviously he still lived with his parents. But I'm still meeting them for the first time, seeing his house for the first time, meeting his siblings for the first time. It's all very nerve-wracking. And I go in, and all over the house are these handmade dolls his mum's made. They're kind of just like decapitated dolls, like bleeding dolls, like these horrific dolls that she just loved to craft in her spare time.
Why were they decapitated?
That's just what she, enjoyed doing.
Because she's a psychopath, Ross.
I get the doll thing, but having them decapitated.
Well, it's really hard to do the heads, so yeah.
So she'd have blood, fake blood on them and stuff, Jess?
Yep, just, sharp, scary teeth, weird coloured eyes.
Yeah, no, get out. Get out.
What was she like to talk to?
Oh, a bit of human sacrifice.
Honestly, she was actually quite nice to me.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
That was
a
she's
bait
buttering
switch.
you up to put you on the hot coals.
Oh, Jess. Tell me you're not still in that relationship.
Oh, I am.
Oh, that's great.
Did you say
So you are still in that relationship?
Yeah, I don't really have much of a relationship with my parents, so surprise.
Wow.
That's
Well, you're still
amazing.
kicking, you're still breathing,
Okay, yeah,
so that's very lucky.
But watch your back.
Good on you, Jess.
Sounds like she's into voodoo. I'm just going to put it out there. Thanks, Jess. Josh is in Alkimos. Hello.
Hello, how are we?
Hey, buddy.
Good, Josh.
We're talking about first impressions. What happened?
Oh, it's not about my first impression. It's about my wife, or my girlfriend then, first impression of me.
Mm-hmm.
We, the setup in my house is a big family, so there's not much room for me to live in a room, so I ended up getting put in the back of the shed.
Next to the mower.
Josh.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a shed.
Yeah.
Had a little living area, but I didn't tell my wife, my partner at the time, this at all. So when we rocked up to my house the first time, she was showing her around, and then I had to take her out back to the shed, roll the door up, and show her the bachelor pad.
And so, just to be clear, Josh, she stuck around after this.
We've been happily married, so
it's amazing.
I think we're 12 years now or something. So
wow.
So how well appointed was the shed? So you lift the roller door up. Is there carpet? What's the story on the ground?
there was a little bit of carpet in the living area.
You had a living area?
How big's the shed?
It was a house.
Yeah, there was like a TV on a crate. There was a
of course there was.
Like those Murphy bed things. It was like $80 or something second hand. So it was. The imagination will set you there. It wasn't the greatest setup.
Josh, if you needed to go to the bathroom, what would you do?
I'd have to go inside, so I had to have a key to unlock the door to go inside.
You didn't go inside.
Yeah, that lemon tree was thriving.
There might have been a can next to the bed sometimes.
Josh. So what was her initial reaction? What did she say once she saw this setup?
She was very polite about it. I thought she was keen. I was like, oh, she loves it.
How old were you at the time?
She loves it.
Oh, I'd like to say I was pretty young. I think I was 20, 21.
Yeah.
It's a good
and how
setup.
long, after you met her, how much longer did you stay living in the shed before you got a proper house?
I pretty much moved to her house within 6 months.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I was just thinking, Josh, what was it like in winter?
Oh, it was cold. It was like four blankets. It was insane.
Of course.
Living the dream. Oh, Josh, thank you. That was everything. Stephanie's in Ellenbrook. Hello.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Great, Steph. Okay, talk to us about the first impression when you got to their place.
Okay, so I've got a really positive story.
Oh,
so,
show off.
so when I first met my now husband and I went over there for the first time, I got to the bedroom and his whole bed was just decked out in like Sheridan sheets like you would see in the shop window. So basically he'd gone and bought the whole set. It was the big throw pillows, nautical themed duvet, throw blanket on the end, like perfectly done. And the best part was he didn't even know that I was coming over. So that's how it looked all the time.
So did you have any suspicions that perhaps he might have been gay?
He's probably listening.
Because, I mean, the thought would run through your head if it's so perfectly presented like that.
No, he's just got really good taste. I mean, this is in Melbourne, and he's always saying he's got really good Melbourne taste.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I got him to move into my apartment quick smart and make sure that he brings the sheets.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of Megan having to burn your sheets.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
You are just showing off now, Steph. Well done. Well done. You landed a
It's a lot to be
unicorn.
said about. It's a lot to be said for a man to make his bed and it all be neat and tidy for someone to come home.
Yeah, and wash your sheets. I mean, as a bare minimum, wash your sheets.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Time for us to get out of here. Tomorrow, though, if you've been following along in our socials, T should have new hair tomorrow.
New hair.
What colour will it be?
A different wig, eh?
Because she talked about going dark. We did a poll. People thought she should be darker or maybe Pauline Hanson red.
What did the percentages get to? Do we know?
I don't know.
I didn't think Pauline Hanson won.
No, I think a lot of people were saying, go darker. But she has beautiful blonde hair. So, you know.
What did you vote for, Ross? You went the
Pauline Hanson.
Oh, Pauline Hanson.
That's really mean, Ross.
Well, I mean, it's different. Different's good.
You're a really mean person.
Good. That's really nice.
Tomorrow on the show, Teddy Swims is going to be joining us well, and we'll have more tickets to go to his concert. Exciting times.
Jeremy McGovern is also going to join us, talk about the West Coast Eagles lifting themselves up off the ground to take on the reigning premiers at the Gabba. Who are you tipping, Nat?
Oh, look, I think it's a tough assignment for them, Sean.
I reckon you're right. Oh, we're giving away a trip to Bali tomorrow as well.
Oh, of course. We've got it's Fly Away Fridays. That's a bit of fun.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, Reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.